Hello guys and welcome back to this YouTube channel. And in today's video I will be offering my opinions on Daniel Ricciardo. But let's just start straight away by talking about Daniel Ricciardo's character. And to be honest, the Honey Badger is just a breath of fresh air to the paddock, with constant funny moments on and off the track. And 95% of the time when things aren't going his way, he is still relatively upbeat. But let's go back to 2011 where Daniel Ricciardo made his Formula 1 debut at the British Grand Prix. Ricciardo debuts for the Hispana Racing Team, or otherwise known as HRT, who were backmarkers in the F1 pecking order. For Ricciardo in 2011 it was just about gaining that experience in Formula 1. And he would inevitably get promoted to Toro Rosso for 2012, reason why, well, he was a Red Bull young driver. In 2012, Danny Ric was partnered up with Jean-Eric Vergne and Vergne won out. But in 2013 the tables were turned and Daniel Ricciardo got the better of Jev. The Aussie was definitely developing as a driver and he seemed to maximise the best out of that Toro Rosso chassis. But in the senior team there was big news as Mark Webber was announcing his retirement from F1, so it was between Ricciardo and Vergne to take the Red Bull seat, and Ricciardo got it. I do feel sorry for Jev for what's unfolded throughout his F1 career the season after. He never really got his true chance, but I think Red Bull just based it off the 2013 season and saw Ricciardo as a more promising driver than Jev. A whole collection of new regulations for the 2014 season meant that Red Bull's dominance in F1 would come to an end as the Renault engine just didn't develop and Red Bull did take quite a while to get going. And with Daniel having Sebastian Vettel as his teammates, who at the time was easily, or not easily, but probably the best driver in the world, winning the past 4 World Drivers' Championships, things did look a bit shaky for the Aussie. However, gasps of surprises would appear and Daniel Ricciardo absolutely destroyed Seb in 2014. Daniel won 3 races to Seb's 0 and Daniel finished 3rd in the World Championship standings behind the 2 dominant Mercs. This was Ricciardo's best season in F1 in my opinion, reason why he maximised his true potential and just caught us all by surprise. And then you talk about the Honey Badger's supremely exciting racecraft that just caught the attention and we were making some really bold statements for his future. Daniel was phenomenal in 2014 and although Seb was definitely not at his best in 2014, Ricciardo still battered him to pieces. And the reason why I find Ricciardo's season so surprising in 2014 because I never really thought of Ricciardo as a good enough driver in 2012 and 2013. I thought he's very, very well compared to Jev, but in 2014 he goes and beats a 4-time world champion. However, for 2015 Red Bull took another step backwards and became the 4th quickest team in F1. Daniel only got 2 podiums in 2015 and had a string of reliability issues. And as well as that, new teammate Daniil Kvyat beat Ricciardo in 2015 and in my opinion it was well deserved. Now the casual F1 fan will say, oh well, Ricciardo didn't exactly have the best reliability, but at the end of the day Kvyat had his first season at Red Bull and he beat Ricciardo, who beat Vettel the season before. The following year would be a very up and down season for Ricciardo. He would be cost victories in my opinion at Spain and Monaco. He did rack up 3rd in the World Championship and yes he did get his win at Malaysia, but he had a new promising teammate in Max Verstappen who was looking the much more promising driver for the future. At the end of 2014 when Vettel left Red Bull, it seemed like Red Bull were going to base their team around Daniel Ricciardo, but when they had that hot prospect in Max Verstappen, things did not look bright for the Aussie. Ricciardo and Verstappen were plagued by reliability issues for the Red Bull team in 2017, and the pace of the Red Bull car, especially in the first half of the season, was nowhere near the pace of the Ferrari and the Mercedes. But of course, Daniel got that mega win at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix after that phenomenal dive bomb into Turn 1. I do think Max was quicker in 2017, yes, but on race day, Ricciardo just seemed to have that psychological edge. Then in the first 6 races of 2018, Ricciardo won 2 of them, and it looked like he would be an outside bet for the World Championship. But a colossal amount of reliability errors left him only 6th in the standings. And of course, during the summer he announced that shocking move to Renault for 2019. And to be completely honest, I don't blame Daniel. Red Bull want to build the team around Max Verstappen. And to be brutally honest, I think Red Bull are the main factor for the amount of reliability issues Ricciardo has endured. I don't think that much of it is down to Renault. It's how new he packages that engine and how many stupid reliability issues the mechanics have led to. But now I am going to offer my opinions on Daniel Ricciardo. Now looking at Dan as a racer, he is very, very similar to John Watson. Never truly has the pace to win a world championship, but is a very exciting driver who puts a brilliant show on fantastic overtaking manoeuvres. And I would even say Daniel Ricciardo is the modern day version of John Watson. But back to the Honey Badger, and the only place you can really start is with Dan's racecraft. He is a supreme overtaker. Daniel is the most clinical overtaker on the field, and for me he is the most exciting. An exciting driver to watch for me is not pushing the boundaries more than 20% of the time when you're performing your racecraft and just making clean overtakes. Now, for me, Max Verstappen merits the criteria I've just discussed, but that takes nothing away from the Dutchman. But for me, Dan is the most clinical and consistent at his racecraft. At certain weekends, Daniel Ricciardo is absolutely on fire, like at weekends or every year in Monaco, where he consistently gets the best out of his Red Bull car. However, saying that, in my opinion, Dan is a very hot and cold driver. Too many Grand Prix weekends in the past few seasons, Daniel has just been very quiet and never has really delivered special pace. And Max does seem like the better prospect for the future because he's younger and he has that more natural ability. But I am not slating Dan for 1 second. On his day, he is an extremely quick driver. And if it wasn't for driver vetoes, every team would want to have him in their team. I just think his raw pace is too inconsistent to win a world championship. But guys, that is it for today's video. Please like this video and subscribe to this YouTube channel. And until next time guys, see you later.